Hello, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to Finextra TV. We're here at Money 2020 in Amsterdam, and with me now in the press lounge to discuss sustainability and ESG is Mambu's Sustainability Director, Anna Krotova. Anna, thank you very much for taking the time out of the busy event to come and join us in the press lounge.
Thank you for coming, the important topic.
It's really important and a huge one at Money 2020. I know you're going to be speaking on a panel later on. But I want to start by looking at this trend and why it's such a big one across the industries. And I know a lot of discussions will be covering how the industry can reach those ESG goals, but I want to know, what does that entail? What are those ESG goals? But also, how do you go about measuring ESG consistently and efficiently?
Very big topic. So ESG, as you know, is a very, very wide menu of issues. It covers everything from environment, climate change, biodiversity loss, material use, pollution, to human rights and how we treat the workforce, to governance and how you actually make decisions, and how do you govern business integrity in the business, and how do you actually govern sustainability, which is yet another topic. Mm-hmm. So a very broad set of issues, and there are multiple drivers right now that are putting this top of minds for the financial industry. We have obviously the consumer demand. We ran recently consumer research where 67% of our interviewees said that they want actually a sustainable banking offering from their bank, and they would actually pay the premium to switch. So you have that trend. People want to know, what's their money financing, where is it going, and they want to have a say in that. You have the regulator. So capital markets are starting to understand and starting to create a legislative infrastructure where they want to have greater oversight and control, essentially, of is money financing fundamentally sustainable activity or not. And then you have, of course, market leaders who are ahead. So there's that competition, and we don't want to lose out on that. So these are all the different things that are putting this top of mind for business, and why it's such a big topic here as well, Money 2020.
All right, thank you very much for setting the scene for us there. So I want to talk a bit more about the roles and responsibilities of the marketplaces. So what are those and how can they be carried out?
Yeah, so I would absolutely single out the role of the regulator. We absolutely need clarity on what are we measuring, how are we measuring. We need standards, and we can't wait for a couple innovative companies who are willing to take the risk to do that and wait for others to catch up. We just don't have the time for that. So I would absolutely argue for standardization, and this is a big topic here at Money 2020, and how do we do that? Do we have the right standards, and how do we ensure implementation?
All right, so thank you for that. You've helped me into my next question, the importance of standardization. You've helped highlight that, but do you think it's enough to bring ethics and accountability into the financial sphere?
It's a very important question. ESG exists because investors want businesses to be more responsible for their impacts, but we have to remember that ESG was created to help investors understand their exposure to risk, and as such, it still serves that industry, and it sort of operates within that context, right? So we all know that we have short-term investment horizons. We know that we're all competing for capital. We know that ESG is becoming a commodity, and we know that essentially ESG risk measurement is to help businesses understand their risk and return. And even if we help solve ESG risks, we still might not end up in the world that we want to live in. So I would absolutely argue for the balance between risk to business, which is what current standards are trying to achieve, versus actually how does that translate to impacts on the world, and is that moving us closer to where we want to be in 50 years.
Anna, thank you so much for sharing your insights today. I'll let you get back to the event so you can share it with the rest of the delegates, but thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.